God hears you. God sees you. He sees every tear. He sees the pain. He sees the ups. He sees the downs. So thanks to my dad, I have a tendency to think about life in terms of sports analogies. My dad would talk to me about Coach Vince Lombardi many times throughout the years, and Coach Vince Lombardi was the greatest football coach there ever was. He was no nonsense. He got the job done, and his main focal point with his players was getting back to the basics. So with that said, this past week, I was talking to the Lord, and I do that. Prayer is talking to the Lord. That's all it is. And I ask him, you know, what kind of things does he want me to talk about with you guys when I get here on YouTube? And so what kept coming to my mind was stay the course. Stay the course with the Lord. And so I said to him, Lord, I will stay the course with you. And then I said, Lord, I'm in it for the long game with you. I'm in it for the long game with you. And I meant that from my heart, because God has always been there for me. When it looked like my life was in dire straits, God was there. He picked me up. He rescued me. He's never, ever let me down. He's never left me alone. He's always had my back, and he'll always have your back. So I said, Lord, I'm in it with you for the long game. A couple days later, I decided to call a prayer line. And so they have lots of prayer lines you can call, any prayer line that you can find. You Google it and they come up. And so the reason why I called was because the way that I was raised is that when you have something to pray about, instead of praying by yourself, pray what's called the prayer of agreement. And you pray in agreement with another believer in Christ. And so my dad, when he was alive, he was that for me. He was my prayer partner. My dad was my best friend. Love my dad. He was an amazing man. So given that, he's been gone for a number of years, sometimes I don't have somebody to pray the prayer of agreement with. So I called this particular prayer line. And so these people, they don't know you. They don't know me from anyone. So I told the lady I needed prayer for a few things. And so she said, sure. So she started to pray, and this is what she said. She said, Lord, you know that Melissa is in it with you for the long, and she started to say run, and she stopped. And then she said, Lord, you know that Melissa is in it for the long game with you. I had just said that to the Lord 2 days earlier. And when I said it to the Lord, I was by myself. Nobody heard me. I didn't tell it to anyone. Nobody knew that. Nobody heard it except for me and God. And so for this lady to pray this on the phone, she doesn't know me. How does that happen? You might think, how does that happen? I know how it happens. The Lord heard me when I said to him, I'm in it with you for the long game. He heard me. He put that on that lady's heart, in her mind and in her mouth, to say to me. Okay? God does those kinds of things. It was a mini miracle. It was a mini miracle for me. And I sat there and quietly cried as this lady finished the prayer. I was so overwhelmed by that because God has done that for me so many times throughout my life. He shows up in those little ways, except it was huge to me. And it's as if he's saying, Melissa, I heard you. And I know that he did. I'm going to tell you something. God hears you. Every word. God sees you. He sees every tear. He hears every bit of laughter. He sees the pain. He sees the ups. He sees the downs. Talk to him. Because he shows up with miracles of all kinds when we simply talk to him. Sending love and prayers to all of you.